We've got some crazy videos to get through today. But before we do any of that, just check this out. Could it just be an animal and the camera is just reflecting its eyes? Absolutely. Am I walking up to confirm that theory? Absolutely not. But apparently, strange things aren't only happening in the middle of nowhere at night. Because this next clip involving a very young Beyonce has resurfaced and people have a lot of questions.
Here we go. Come on over here. Here, you can do. You want to sit up? You want to make this easier? You can sit on my lap. Michael. Michael. Hi. Okay, we're in. Okay. All right, we're in the studio, and I have Beyonce sitting on my lap, and I'm gonna put you on speakerphone.
Oh God. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna put you on speakerphone to talk to her, and give. Okay. You're shaking. Okay, you ready? Okay, hold on.
Oh no. I'm gonna pass out.
Well, well, well. Isn't it just a coincidence how this video randomly surfaced all of a sudden? And for people who may think that this is just random, this guy, the producer, Mark Shafal, is associated with a lot of stuff that I can't say here, and I think you should go and do your research. But the continuation of worshipping false idols continues.
A lot of people don't realise, particularly the general public, that the movies, the incredibly successful franchise, the 3 MIB movies, were actually based upon real reports of people being visited by men in black after having UFO experiences. Now, although the movies were incredibly popular, they actually presented somewhat of a distorted image of the real men in black. In the movies, Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones's characters, whose names are J and K, they come across as secret agents of some secret arm of the government. And that's certainly how they're portrayed. But when we speak to the witnesses, they tell a very different story. They talk about the men in black looking very, very strange, very often pale or sort of olive-skinned. They wear these large wraparound sunglasses, and people talk about how, when they've looked closely at them, their eyes seem to be overly large. And they don't seem fully aware of our mannerisms or our language. And this has given rise to the idea that there's some sort of alien entity that looks enough like us to where they can maneuver amongst us, but also to where if we would take a good look at them, we would think, wow, there's something not right about that person. So, in other words, the real men in black seem to have origins that are far more different and far stranger than the government.
Right. Now, you were just 11 years old when you became interested in this whole enigmatic men in black, as you say in your book. Take us back to that time, Nick, when, you got all fired up about this subject.
Yeah, well, what kicked it all off for me, I've never had sort of a personal, really life-changing UFO experience, but my dad was in the British Royal Air Force, worked on radar as a radar mechanic. He was involved in several UFO incidents in the 50s, and the unit was told not to talk about this.
I've made way too many conspiracy videos at this point. If 2 guys came knocking for me looking like that, wearing suits, I already know what's going to happen. They're going to pull out that little memory wipe thing from Men in Black, flash it in my face, and next week I'll be reviewing highlights from the Premier League, wondering why I have 200 gigs of alien footage on my computer. At this point, I feel like I'm working my way onto their list. One more video of a UFO, and these guys are going to come knocking at my door saying, "Good evening, sir. We'd like to talk to you about your YouTube channel." Absolutely not. So my people, before that does happen, please, please, please subscribe to the channel and support what we're doing here. Like the video as always. Leave your opinions in the comment section. And for those of you that are seeing the hype button, smash the hype button so that everybody else can get the hype button as well. But of course, most importantly, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And I'm not going to hold you hostage, all right? Let's move to the next clip.
I inherited it from my mom. She was given this in 1931 by a friend of the family's. And prior to that, it had been in a window display at Macy's in downtown San Francisco.
And you know it's an automaton.
Okay.
And it was made by a French firm, Lambert. Leopold Lambert was one of the great makers of French automatons, starting in the late 19th century and well into the early part of the 20th century. This is a classic. It's a magician. When it operates, he bangs the cone with his wand 2 or 3 times, lifts it, and various things appear. All this is accompanied by a music box. These were made not as toys. These were made for the well-to-do to decorate their homes and to intrigue children, but they were not to touch. They were fairly expensive in their day. After winding it, we pull this and let's see the action. As if by magic, the watch is gone.
It worked.
The values fluctuate depending on condition. This one has some condition issues. It has some condition pluses. It needs some mechanical work. It has a little fraying on the collar here. This example would fall in the range for an auction estimate of somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't realize it would be that much.
Honestly, I would take 15K over that doll thing. Matter of fact, I'm almost sure this guy's just trying to get rid of that doll because we all know that that clown doll is more than likely cursed. Look into its eyes. You can't tell me that this doll hasn't seen things.
So that was the weirdest I have ever experienced in my life. The guys in the white truck, all tactical my life. With all the tactical gear. The guys in the black SUV, they're all in civilian clothes, but carrying everything. They knew my name. They knew my name. My phone is 3/4 full. All right, I have 3/4 battery. My phone turned off the moment they pulled up next to me. My phone went dead. What the just happened? So I don't know whether you can see, but I've got a car closing in on me. See that? He is coming up fast. And right here, people, is Area 51. He's coming up fast. Oh, there's a lot of cameras. I wonder if... shit. Okay. I'm presuming, as long as I don't go past that sign where it says do not go past this sign, I'm presuming I'll be alright. He stopped.
Uh-oh.
He's not moving. What the f is going on here? What's the worst that can happen? Wait. It just looks like a few porta cabins, you know, and some barbed wire. But there's a lot of signs that says if you cross this point you will be shot. And it's silent, but you can guarantee someone's watching you. He ain't moved. He's been following me all the way up here, and now he's just still. Okay, let's see what this guy's all about. Now, you see that? Now he's driving. The f is that? Okay, now I've got a black truck that's blocking the road above.
This is one of the soldiers existing in this realm, but if that was me and I seen a black truck and that white van and my phone turned off immediately when they got behind me, I am never doing that again. I think he's lucky he lived to tell the story.
The entrance is up here.
Okay, we're going up.
Yeah. The steps, of course, are modern.
Mark leads me up the side of the pyramid, hopping over a barricade. That's because we're going to the now off-limits front door. Wow!
Well, Josh, welcome to the original entrance to the Great Pyramid.
This is insane. I've been to the Great Pyramid before. I have never been up here.
Well, you see, the entrance itself is a 3-foot square little hole.
This is the original entrance down here.
This is the original entrance.
These angled blocks, these are called the chevrons, right?
Yeah, the French call them chevrons.
The size of those is obscene. Each immense 80-ton chevron block is placed to protect the tiny 3-foot entrance in a technique known as saddle vaulting. There are actually 5 levels of chevrons here, which help distribute the massive weight of the building above by directing it off to the sides. And the chevrons themselves are resting on a colossal crossing block called a lintel. Like, look at the size of this lintel block here.
Well, they think this maybe weighs 100 tons.
But as impressive as all of this is, none of it was meant to be seen. Same for the door, which was hidden from view by the pyramid's outer facing stones. Okay, it occurs to me that one of the problems with being a pharaoh who wants to be entombed for all eternity with your kingly treasures is that by putting yourself in this pyramid, you're kind of painting a target on it.
Exactly. I mean, it's the biggest building in the world.
Literally.
And it's blazing with sunlight reflected off the white casing. It's as though saying, if you want to get me, I'm here.
Right. So how did Khufu then protect himself from looters coming in here?
Well, he designed a totally unique set of chambers, basically a series of locks comprising 3 principal lines of defense. And it's almost like Indiana Jones. Get through one, you have to get through the other, and you have to get through the other, then you get to his treasure. But Khufu was confident that nobody could unlock that machine.
Imagine moving these blocks just so they can protect this corpse and treasure. That's absolutely insane, but it still leaves me wondering, how the heck did they move these blocks?
Go look at any ancient Egyptian statue in any museum. The nose is gone. Not chipped, not worn down. Gone. And it is gone on almost every single one of them. The easy answer is that noses stick out, statues fall over, and 3,000 years is a very long time. That explanation is comfortable, and it is almost always the one you hear. Then look at the flat carvings on the walls. Those noses are smashed too. A nose carved into a flat wall cannot snap off when something falls on it. Somebody went in with a chisel and took those noses off on purpose. Not once, and not in one place. Across 3,000 years, in dynasty after dynasty after dynasty. To an Egyptian, the statue was alive. The spirit lived in it and breathed through the nose. Break the nose and the thing inside suffocates. You are not vandalizing it. You are killing it. It was not just noses. Ears were cut off so it could not hear. Arms were cut at the elbow so it could not take an offering. This was skilled work, not a mob, and the Sphinx? Napoleon did not shoot its nose off. A Danish explorer drew it noseless in 1737, 60 years before Napoleon got there. Somebody got there first, with a chisel.
With the things people do to conquer other nations, I wouldn't be surprised if this theory was true. I've always wondered the reasons why the Sphinx noses were missing, but I'd like to hear from you. Let me know in the comment section.
It's all those negative thoughts that pop into your head. You ever had, even some people will have even negative thoughts where it'll just be like, you'll just think evil things towards a person randomly. Be like, I'm gonna kick you, or I hate you, or I'm gonna kill you, or some thought will pop in your head, or like maybe you'll just have a random thought that's like obscene, and you're like, why did I even think that? That's demons, bro. Demons are trying to influence your mind to see if you bite, to see if you accept it, to see if you go, oh, okay. Once you start listening to the Lord, they shut up. They don't talk to me very much at all.
But I gotta assume that they're still trying.
Sometimes, yeah, they try sometimes, but yeah, just ignore it. And so like it's trying constantly. The demons are trying to influence you, and trauma is the #1 way for the demons to make a home in you. And so I'll tell you real quick, like if let's say someone is raped by their family member, their dad, okay, that's a really traumatic experience. Guess what? Your brain, a lot of times, will go into the hypnotic state to protect you. So you're like, why is my dad doing this to me? I can't believe my dad's doing it. What is going on? And your brain short circuits. It's an electric circuit, bro. You have electricity in your brain. And it shuts down. And you go, what? And then the experience happens. and then you turn back on and you don't even remember it. And it's, you know what it's done, bro? It's gone into their brain, and it's accessed a part of their brain and stored that memory and said, shut that door. We are never going near that folder again. And so they don't even have full access to their brain. I know this because I help people when they heal from trauma. Guess what? They become smarter. Like, legitimately. They will gain back parts of their brain that they've been blocked off and no access to. And so the trauma happens, the memory gets...
All my people that come and watch us daily, you already know how many times I've mentioned about the spiritual warfare that's going on this plane. Well, this guy explained it perfectly. Our mind and our focus is where most of the war is going on.
I'm starting to think that these data centers are not what we're being told they are. You know, one of the major complaints that people have about them is not just the taxing of the electric grid, but also the consumption of water. And I'm starting to believe that they're not really consuming water at all. They're storing it. If you've been on TikTok at all in the last couple of days, you're probably seeing videos about droughts, about extreme heat, and about low water supply in cities all across the country. And this is happening all across the world, quite frankly. I mean, I was talking about data centers a year ago and their consumption of water and how I felt like this was just excessive. Like, it just didn't make sense that they needed so much water, especially if it was a closed loop system. What if the people responsible for building these data centers knew well in advance that we were going to experience dramatic droughts this year, and they started investing in these facilities not to run data centers, but to run direct access to aquifers? With the United States apparently privatizing water, it starts to make sense, doesn't it? And in fact, my wife, who's from South America, was told in school when she was growing up that the future wars would be over water, not oil. So what if that's what's really going on right now? That we're keeping the whole world's eyes turned over to the Middle East to make sure they think this is all about oil, when in reality, it's all about water. And don't forget, all those enormous structures built by ancient civilizations all seem to have one thing in common: aquifers underneath them.
I have one theory, and I might have mentioned it before on this channel. What if one day these guys go into a bunker, all the elites, they go into their bunkers underground, and then all of a sudden they say, turn off all the lights, turn off all the AI, turn off everything. And all of this time, all the AI data centers have been leaching all the water that's been going all underground to where they're going to be living. And now we're all left to fight it out amongst ourselves. But that seems a bit crazy, you know. This is why I say it's all just for entertainment purposes. That can't be true.
Police tracked a man's car crossing state lines over and over using flock license plate cameras. Why? Because he kept driving from Wisconsin to Michigan, where marijuana is legal. Investigators decided that those repeated trips were enough to justify pulling him over, and then searching his vehicle once he returned to Wisconsin. Now forget the weed for a second. Remember when they told us those cameras were for catching kidnappers, murderers, or dangerous criminals? Instead, they're building databases that can track where you've been, where you go, and how often you travel somewhere. And then they can use that information to build a case against you. And this is exactly what everyone warned about. We've already seen these systems used to track women traveling for reproductive health care. We've seen officers abuse them to stalk exes and people they knew. And every time somebody raises concerns, we're told, well, if you're doing nothing wrong, you have nothing to worry about. Really? Because now your travel history can become evidence. Not because somebody watched you commit a crime, but because the government watched and tracked where you drove. This is what mass surveillance looks like. It doesn't stay limited to the worst criminals. It slowly becomes a tool to monitor everybody until simply living your life starts to look suspicious.
Man, what happened to the land of the free? I thought you guys were all about fighting against totalitarian. Oh, wow. You guys know what I'm trying to say anyway. Anytime I hear these flock cameras, I always go back to the fact that everything seems like we're going back to 1984.
I know there's a lot of stuff going on with the golden juices. And I'm so sorry if I've alarmed everybody. People have told me that be careful, don't be pushed off of the freeway. Yeah, on me. It's not fair. It's not even fair. Times are really tough right now. And I'm just gonna find my next mask. Because I don't want any problems around here.
Guys, please tell me you heard what I just heard in that clip. You know exactly what I am talking about. I'm sure the comment section will help. But if you want a clue, my real name's Isaac and I wear a cap. Let's just put it that way. And then there's the reference to this juice. I mean, I have a very good idea what she's talking about here. And I've even done a video on this previously. You can go on my profile, scroll a little bit back, it was recent, and have a look at it yourself. It's fair to say there's some very strange things going on in Tinseltown.
What were we saying in our previous video about speaking in symbols and how these people talk in symbols? This is the thing. This Hollywood rabbit hole, it just seems to never end.
Demons don't have patience, so they'll always rush. But scripture says, they that wait, come on, man, upon the Lord, right? So waiting is a weapon that Satan will fall under every single time.
That is, I've never heard anything like that.
Waiting is a weapon of mass destruction. It exposes the hand of the enemy because he don't have patience. His spirit is one of rush. That's why they're selling high-speed internet. Everything is quicker. That's why we're getting information so fast now, because we are now being indoctrinated in a world of speed. But God's not moving in speed. If he was, he'd have came back sooner. He'll be here right now if he was moving on speed. There's a pace of God that we need to get back to. But all of that comes through the teaching of the Holy Spirit. I can never go to him and rush. My emergency is not his. I promise you, Ezekiel. What? My emergency is not his.
Yeah, I think that speaks for itself. All the videos that we've been getting at the end of our videos have been speaking mass information. It's just been speaking mass knowledge. And like I said, this speaks for itself. It's this thing where you look at how the societies are built today and how the world is moving today, especially with the internet. Everything is like quick, quick, quick. Everybody wants to get it quick. Everybody wants to get money quick. Everybody wants to get their results quick. But what was it that he said? The demons can't move in, I think he said in patience or in a slow pace. That was, the way he said it was so eloquent anyway. And it just goes to show, I mean, when you think about it, right? Knowledge is never attained overnight. Knowledge is something that you gain over time, over experience. Do you know what I mean? It's the same way that people want to eat fast food, right? But don't realize that the fast food is actually what's killing them. And that we have to flee away from these things and fast, right? We fast away from the fast food, and that allows us to purify ourselves from the parasites. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I think it's one of the things that we need to think about, especially, like I said, with the internet and how people are trying to teach us that we want to gain things really quickly. Do you know what I mean? Whereas we need to be able to sit down, and I say this always in our rants, we need to sit down and be able to sit within ourselves. Do you know what I mean? Some people will call it meditating. Do you know what I mean? And meditation it's not quick. It takes time and patience. And it's the same thing with therapy. It takes time and patience to untangle all of these knots. Trauma we were speaking about early on in the video. It takes time and patience. Nothing that's gained, that's fulfilling, comes fast. It takes time, you know? But listen, I don't want to go too deep into this rant, all right? Newcomers, you see a video pop up right here. It's recommended just for you. Click it, and I'm going to see you guys in the next episode. As always, stay curious. Peace. We are back at it once again. Look at us. Look at God. We are back at it again. And there is a symbolism behind this. I'm telling you, this candle is not just here for nothing. These candles are not just here for nothing. These are all symbolism. We are chasing away the spirits. No, jeez.